dynamic guards in Garantes and Gonzalez. It's Rutgers and BYU for the first time ever. They've never met on the hardwood before. This is the Capital One starting five for BYU. Gonzalez goes for 18 a game. Paisley Harding scores 14 tonight. A high-scoring duo in the backcourt for BYU and for Rutgers as well. The Cougars in the dark road uniforms, Rutgers in the white. And look out for this Scarlet Knights backcourt of not just Garantes, but Diamond Johnson as well, the terrific freshman.
Absolutely. You want to watch right now, how does BYU handle this pressure of Rutgers, especially here early in the game?
Rutgers, such a disruptive team. That first look for Gonzalez was offline from the baseline, so here is Garantes. Down the lane, nearly gets the roll and earns 2 free throws on the first possession. So Christy, give us your keys for today's game.
Well, I already hit the first one. The BYU perimeters just have to be able to handle this nonstop pressure of Rutgers. And we just saw it. How does Rutgers go at Sarah Hampson, the 6'7" post player for BYU? You saw Garantes attack her immediately. And then, can BYU slow down this high-octane Rutgers offense? Again, all ready for Rutgers. Great start offensively.
Yeah, BYU has earned a reputation as one of the better defensive teams, not just in its conference, but in the country. And there's the first takeaway of the game for Rutgers. It's the freshman, gets called for the double dribble, though. But that is just Rutgers in a nutshell. They average more than 12 steals a game, Chrissy. That's third best in the country.
But Kevin, I'll raise you. They're turning that into 25 points a game off those opponents' turnovers. That time, unfortunately, Diamond Johnson couldn't convert.
Well, that's made a lot of teams fold. 14-3 this year, the 10 wins of the Big Ten, and it was their third straight top 5 finish in the league. Here's a 3 from the corner. Perfect swish to get started for BYU.
Well, Paisley Harding, where she left off in the WCC tournament. She was on fire from deep, then carries it into Texas.
Garantes to one of 2 players. It winds up out of bounds. There's Jeff Judkins. Just another successful season at BYU. This program's been a model for consistency. His 429 wins, and he's arguably one of the better coaches in BYU athletics history. He's taken this team to 10 NCAA tournaments in his 20 years. Back-to-back turnovers, though, with one on this end as well.
How about the humility of Jeff Judkins when he was talking about all the legends that he has faced in the NCAA tournament? Gino, Pat Summitt, Tara Vanderveer. And then he was like, but I'd never faced CVIV, and this will be the first time. And I said, well, Coach, at this point, I'm sure people are talking about you as a legend within our game as well. And he was just dumbfounded by me making that remark. But he has been consistently putting a quality product on the court year in, year out for the Cougars.
What a ratio. It's like every other year he faces a Hall of Famer. Yeah. And here are some of the games that BYU has, or some of the opponents, I should say, it's drawn in the tournament over the years. Boy, those are just icons in the game.
Well, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And that's what he consistently puts BYU in a position to do year in and year out.
And all that's great. I think he'd like to change the fortune. Let's see if he can pick up a win today against Rutgers. Boy, a player you just saw took a spill. Looked like Harding on the drive. And
yeah, I mean, you know, for our viewers at home on the East Coast, you got to remember this is an 11 a.m. tip. These teams have been in Texas all week waiting. Yeah, you just see that floor is slick. Harding just feet fly out from under on that one. Lucky that she's able to get up and feels good right now.
Boy. Rutgers on this end, a high-scoring Scarlet Knights attack this year. They average more than 75 a game. Although in 5 possessions, the Knights have given it away 4 times.
Well, we have to remind everyone, Diamond Johnson is a true freshman. Has not really shown it at all this season, but this is a big stage, and you got to believe these players are amped up, ready to go. So I feel like that's where a lot of these travel calls are coming from right now.
Gonzalez gets 2 free throws after the foul.
Well, Gonzalez is crafty with the ball in her hand. Great change of pace. That time was able to get the step. Mack comes over and gets a pretty big piece of her as she releases that shot.
She was the West Coast Conference Co-Player of the Year. Shared it along with Gonzaga's Jen Worth.
Kevin, I think what's really remarkable is she did that coming off a year where she did not play due to that knee injury. I mean, that's just remarkable that she was able to come and have such an impact first year post-injury.
And you saw it. You can take a peek. The knee brace on the right knee. That is significant to come back from an ACL tear and prove to be the best player in the conference. Cougars by 4. Few minutes in. 16-footers strong. That was Taya Singleton, the sophomore. Into the 6'7" forward, knocked away, and Singleton creates the turnover.
Well, that's where Sarah Hampson has to be able to hold that seal so that ball can get delivered to her.
Underneath, Hampson fouls Singleton on the second effort.
Well, Max putting on the floor, which forces rotation. Hampson's there the first time, disrupts Singleton's shot, and then they call her. I don't agree with that call whatsoever, but they call her for the foul on that second one.
Boy,
or actually, they got Gonzalez for that foul.
Good point. No foul on Hampson. That's the first on Gonzalez. The second effort did look clean. There's the knee brace you referenced before. Coming back from an ACL tear and playing at a higher level than her freshman season.
Kevin, I got to tell you, as long as I coached women, it was usually a year and a half for the young ladies to get their timing back. That's why I'm in such awe of what Gonzalez has been able to accomplish. And I give this coaching staff a lot of credit. They had her. She traveled every game last year, and she sat with the coaches on the bench. And Jeff Judkins told us, he thinks that made a big difference for the way she looks at the game, and it's helped make her a better leader on the floor for the Cougars as well.
The coach's perspective for a season. Gonzalez, one dribble, pulls up, and Singleton with another rebound. Here's the freshman, Diamond Johnson. Garantes on the pull-up.
I'm not just saying this. I was just thinking Garantes needs to get a touch here in this possession. So many of the previous possessions, she was just a bystander. Good to see her getting the offense.
That backcourt duo of Garantes and Johnson have meshed so well. Those two scoring combined nearly 40 points per game. Another slip on the floor. And it's Harding that's had the troubles. Turnover. Takia Mack pushing. Garantes, righty scoop. And they wave it off. It's a charge on Mack, who passed it Garantes.
Great job by Harding to stay the course. Great call by the officials. Mack definitely displaces Harding there. Unfortunate for Rutgers. And you're seeing the passion of Takia Mack right now, the emotional leader for Rutgers.
That's 2 fouls on Mack. And if you're the senior playing in your NCAA Women's Championship tournament. That's the last place you want to be, is on the bench. Score the basket and the foul. It's Harding again. It's BYU out to a 2-point lead.
Well, great execution of the set play.
Enough said. Paisley Harding. Welcome to the NCAA Women's Championship. Well, BYU, Christy, falling in the West Coast Conference title game a couple of weeks ago, and they, according to their head coach, were sweating it out a little bit leading up to Selection Monday, and found out, yes, they were one of the last teams to be placed into the tournament field. They get the 11th seed, and I think they got it right. A competitive team like BYU.
Kevin, a heartbreaking loss, a buzzer beater by Gonzaga over this BYU team. And so I think that's part of that raw emotion that we saw from Paisley Harding. Yes, the disbelief, but just the highs and lows that this game brings young women. Just a successful year from start to finish, and it ends like this. Jill Townsend at the buzzer with just 0.6 of a second left. Nails it to send Gonzaga not just to the tournament, but hands it another conference crown. A game in which BYU had a late lead, had a low-scoring affair, and after many days of anxiety, BYU found itself in the tournament field. And with a 3-point lead in this first quarter against Rutgers. And Christy, they're the team on this end that's turning Rutgers over. Well, honestly, right now, I think it's a lot of unforced turnovers by Rutgers. But this is a very disciplined BYU team, a very selfless. They move the ball well. They defend well. And so it's not just an easy game. Forget the seeding here. But for Rutgers, I do believe the offense needs to continue to go through Garantes. She can make buckets, but also make BYU double, triple, make BYU make some defensive adjustments that opens up the other players.
5 points for Garantes. She rips it away from Harding after the miss.
So you're seeing the versatility of Garantes in this possession. Post her up, then reverse pivot to face up.
Singleton off the miss, cleans it up and scores.
Well, and Singleton's able to get on that glass now because you see Sarah Hampson's off the court for BYU. This allows them to open the floor up on offense, now doing more of a true 5-out motion.
Good pass and bucket. That's Lauren Gustin, the sophomore.
I feel like Gustin's just the glue of this BYU team. Just a tough kid that pounds the glass, defends. Just a veteran that needs to come up big, or I should say a young player needs to come up big for the Cougars today.
Singleton rolled nicely to the rim, but couldn't convert. Here is Gustin. Short. And it's Rutgers with the board.
So Rutgers will run a lot of sets called from the bench, and they're just looking for the matchups, the ideal matchups that they can exploit.
Oh, Singleton gets called for the offensive foul.
But there's a lot of different ways to play great defense. It's not just all about shot blocking. It's position defense. Tegan Graham moving her feet, staying between Singleton and the basket. And Singleton gets called as she clears through for that offensive foul.
7 Rutgers turnovers in the opening quarter. Gonzalez's 3 bounces out. .40 seconds, first quarter. 3 in the air. Stays here, 14 or maybe a new 20. Yeah, new 20 seconds for Rutgers. On Thursday, the NIT quarterfinals continue. Mississippi State and Richmond on ESPN2. That's at 6 Eastern. It's Garantes. He gets another whistle.
Well, how about the different shooting positions for Garantes? That time, just out of a low sweep with the strength to pull it up through the contact to get that shot off.
That's the first foul on Harding. Garantes, not just a sensational player, a 2-time All Big Ten first team selection, perhaps a future pro. The latest
I'm going to go.
Mock draft.
This isn't going out on a limb, Kevin.
10.
Yeah, she's going to be a future pro. Again, barring injury, this young lady will definitely be playing professionally. She's just got such a tremendous skill set. And the other part of it is C. Vivian Stringer's players perform so well in the WNBA because of the way she runs her system. These players know how to play all 3 facets of the game. That's why I believe Garantes is definitely ready for the next level.
Johnson's bucket has Rutgers ahead by 2. 10 seconds the first quarter. Johnson trying to rip it away. 2 seconds, tie up, and possession is going back to Rutgers. There's the 5th Rutgers steal of the first quarter. They got 2.4 here. Mack to inbound. Heave Garantes. Does she have enough time? Oh, so close. Even after the tip, had a chance to get it off before the timer. Rutgers holds the 2-point lead at the end of 1. One thing that we saw yesterday, every higher seed advanced in the first day of the opening round.
Well, Georgia's veteran player Gabby Connolly had a major ankle injury last Friday. He's been on crutches, so I'm eager to see if she's able to contribute today for the Lady Bulldogs.
Well, Rutgers getting back to it there. Not just the steal, but the score this time as well.
Absolutely. You talked about the end of that first quarter. They're turning BYU over, but as they ended the first quarter, had only been able to convert those turnovers into 4 points. That's a third of their overall offense as opponents' turnovers into points, and they've got to be able to convert at the rim.
Well, that entry pass wiped away by Mack. Well, even when they're not creating the turnover, they're putting BYU under pressure. 9 to shoot.
Well, and that's
the
what
disparity.
Rutgers,
6 steals.
Rutgers just speeds teams up. That's why I say the guards for BYU have to maintain their composure and execute.
That's a good example. Even off the miss, Harding with the follow and hitting a couple of free throws here. We were just commenting as another foul is assessed to Mack. That's 3, by the way. Worth noting, the senior starter playing with 3. We were just talking off air for a moment, the effort intensity that Paisley Harding plays the game with.
And then on the flip side, I mean, the mojo for the defense for Rutgers really comes from Takia Mack.
So we're lucky today with such a great officiating crew. Dee Cantor, of course, leading the way. And if you heard it, I believe she's saying we're going to go to the monitor to check we've got the right player assess the foul. Was it Mack or somebody else?
Honestly, I didn't see a foul, period. So
yeah.
that's where I'm
Did she?
if they're calling that touch foul, it's got to be Mack. But I'm disappointed if they're calling that kind of touch foul.
I'm with you. no other evidence that suggests it would be somebody else. And that would be a critical third foul.
Confirm the call on the floor. Foul is on number 31.
And the technology this year, the access that the NCAA has granted us and the viewers as well, the head referee of each crew will have the mic on to explain the ruling. So a thank you to the NCAA and the collaborative, I should say, effort between ESPN, the NCAA to make that happen, and would love more of that. Excellent access.
As well as our officials. And again, you're seeing the passion from Takia Mack. It's what drives her and really fuels this team as a whole. This veteran is just so passionate when she steps on the floor.
And I would think it's not just you're losing the 11 points per game, the senior leader, you're losing her presence, to your point, no longer on the floor.
Well, Vivian Stringer said it. They run their 55, that full court press where they're all over you with Takia Mack at the front of it. So basically now the engine of the train has been taken off the floor. And so it really affects the overall defensive effort of Rutgers, in my opinion.
One of the nation's better defenders on the bench. Great screen and roll. Sakima Walker gets the basket. 5-point lead for Rutgers. Gonzalez around the screen, swish.
And that's an MVP caliber move. She just gave a little hard jab fake at the screen that was being set for her. The defender bit. She took it baseline for that jumper.
The answer on this end. Diamond Johnson now with 4.
You're seeing Rutgers just switching all those screens. Such versatility on the floor.
3 in the air, Maria Albiero offline. Gonzalez hoists it up. Draws the foul. And that's Mael Giles.
That was on number 2, Liz Martinez, her first. 2 second.
Came away with a little discomfort. Went right into the shoe tie technique, and hopefully she's all right.
She landed on the foot of her teammate there, and you just see it buckle a little bit. You just really hope she's okay. Mack, one of those seniors on the bench. You can't afford to lose more of this veteran leadership for the Scarlet Knights.
Boy, that is never fun for a player when that happens. Now 6 for Gonzalez. Rutgers back in the dance for the 26th time. Now this is their highest seed in 9 years. Went through a little lull a few years ago, but look, they are just back on track. Finished 3rd in the Big Ten this year. The 10-3 record. They were one of the hotter teams in the country heading into this tournament. But that triple has just tied things up, and it's Harding again.
The bank is open because it is Monday.
Stays here, 7:34 to go in the second quarter.
And Kevin, you mentioned Rutgers' 3rd place finish this year, and that is after a month-long pause due to COVID. And this team, until they lost to Iowa in the Big Ten tournament, went on a 9-game win streak as soon as they started playing again. It's remarkable how this team recovered from the break and just really excelled throughout the month of February.
And how they were doing it, too. The 9 straight wins, and they were blowing teams out.
First team foul of the second quarter. At the line for the Scarlet Knights, number 24.
Here's Garantes. 2 of 4 from the stripe, and that's a rare stat line to see for her. She's the best free throw shooter in the Big Ten. You see the body language after the miss. She's about 90% at the stripe this year. Some of the particulars about Rutgers is 21 season, And there's the number, second from the bottom, 7 games canceled, 2 postponed. And it's remarkable to think after more than a month pause, they come out and win 9 straight to earn the 6th seed.
Well, I'll put it into context. They have played 11 games since the calendar flipped. That's how many games they missed. And honestly, it's why I believe they weren't seeded higher in all the early projections, because they just didn't have enough games under their belt.
I think we have seen, in your words, we've seen Gonzalez make several MVP-type plays. 8 points in the first half. Oh, and that's going to be a travel. It was Giles falling into Garantes.
Yeah, they were trying to execute a little dribble screen for Garantes to get her downhill, and Giles just couldn't stop in time and ran over her teammate.
Seven 7-1 BYU run. Harding on the attack, lays it up, and it just bounces out.
I want somebody to check Harding's shoes during the break. This young lady's having a hard time staying up, but you know what? It doesn't matter because she's still being able to create off the bounce. Paisley Harding gets by her defender, and then you see help side coming. 2 hands are in the air, but Walker gets her with the body. Those are snazzy shoes. I'm just not sure of the grip.
They look good. The question is, are they the best shoes on the floor? Garantes with the bright yellow. We've got the bright pink. Oh, advantage pink shoes. It's a 9-1 BYU run.
Hey, Kevin, look good, play good.
Foul on this end, and it's Broughton heading to the line.
Rutgers fans have to be so excited to see Zippy Broughton back on the floor. Missed almost 2 months with a lower leg injury. Just such a dynamic, explosive player off the bounce.
A junior from Alabama. Garantes snags it, throws it to Gonzalez. .6'7", Sarah Hampson, and she might have shuffled the left foot. That's a travel, and the 9th BYU turnover.
But at least it's a dead ball turnover, which allows BYU to get back and get their defense set.
Nine aside, and the Cougars by 2.
And we're seeing BYU go into a little 3-2 matchup zone now.
It's a foul on Hampson. That's the second on the senior from Linden, Utah.
And Kevin, they're calling a lot of touch fouls in this game. By the rule of the, yes, she hand checked her there.
3 fouls aside. Each team has 1 more to give before we wind up with bonus free throws, and there's a second straight foul.
Yeah, Gustin got caught with a little body check there. Now give Walker credit. Walker's come in off the bench for Scarlet and is making some things happen for the Scarlet Knights.
That's number 12 in the white. It's Garantes, the 1 dribble, the step back. Offensive rebound to Rutgers, but another giveaway. Harding, left-hand drive, and scores it.
I mean, Harding's just tough. I've been waiting to watch this young lady live. Watched her on film. And it's just, she doesn't force the action, but whatever the defense gives her, she'll take. I've seen her just knock down countless threes in games. Today, she's doing it off the bounce.
14 first half points, 4 of 6 from the field. Into the paint, the kick out. 3 in the air, Martino can't hit. It's BYU in its 6th NCAA tournament in the last 9 years. Trying to go on a similar run that it made a few years ago as a 12 seed, advanced to the Sweet 16 back in 2014. With a first half lead over Rutgers today. A takeaway, and that's a foul on Garantes.
We talked about Rutgers' defense, but it is BYU just staying between Garantes and the rim and drawing the foul on the All-American. BYU up 4.
It's about an hour up the road from San Antonio. A salute to the commitment, by the way. Players, coaches, officials, everybody making the daily trips to Austin, to San Marcos, to practice or play their games. They're all staying in San Antonio.
Kevin, you got to believe at this point, they've sacrificed throughout the year just to get here. What's another long bus ride? And again, it just goes hats off to everyone who has made this tournament happen. NCAA officials on the floor, coaches, players, and their families, because the families have also sacrificed a lot for these young ladies to be competing this week.
So here's BYU ahead by 4. Less than 4 to go in the second quarter. What's got the Cougars ahead right now?
Well, they've just been solid, and they've been able to convert the Rutgers miscues into 12 points. But to this point, Rutgers with only 6 points off turnovers. But you've seen them. They mixed up defenses. They've been able to clog the passing lanes a little bit. Rutgers has just been really stymied, and they've been trying to force one-on-one action. As we just saw, I don't think that's a good shot by Garantes there versus getting the high percentage looks by dribble penetrating and kicking to open players.
And Garantes, Rutgers' leading scorer, 2 of 5 from the field. She's trying to get going.
Like honestly, maybe an on-ball screen here for Diamond Johnson. Get her going downhill. Force some rotation by the defense. Because that's it. BYU's really been able to stay solid defensively.
They collapse on Garantes. Must kick. Johnson fires for 3.
3 points.
And the freshman right now, 4 of 4 from the field.
One of the better recruits, C. Vivian Stringer, has gotten to play at Rutgers, the 5-star from Philly. Gonzalez can't respond. And a strong board. There is the freshman flying in. Garantes, spin, Euro step, got the bounce. Next level move.
Absolutely. Just great reading of the defense to realize she needed to go to the Euro to avoid the defender.
9 points for Garantes and a turnover.
And who else but the
Lead
freshman?
feed.
Diamond Johnson leading ahead.
The recovery and the block. And it's Tegan Graham putting an end to maybe a transition bucket. I thought the pass was brilliant. The recovery from Graham was maybe even better.
Well, if you're going to win in the NCAA tournament, it takes extraordinary effort, and we just saw that on both ends of the floor. Destiny Johnson with that lead pass, and then Tegan just gets there for the swat.
Denying Martino, but it's Garantes that winds up at the free throw line after the 5th team foul, I should say, on BYU. So both teams in the bonus. Garantes now 4 of 7 from the stripe. Coming up, it's the AT&T 5G at the half studio show. Kelsey Riggs, Monica McNutt, Andrea Carter will have updates for the other games around the tournament. Georgia tied with Drexel right now. Alabama with the lead over North Carolina. And more on those games in a bit. Here's Harding. In rhythm jumper And there's Giles back on the floor with the rebound. High-scoring Rutgers offense held to just 26 points. They're 45% from the field, but the turnovers have been the Achilles heel, 11 of them. Giles, bounce pass, 3 on the timer. Garantes fights through the traffic, and that may stay here. Last touch by BYU.
Well, credit the matchup zone of BYU for really containing that dribble penetration and not giving Rutgers any good looks.
The winner of this game faces Arizona, the 3 seed, or Stony Brook. That game tips off at 2 Eastern today. Garantes sizing up her defender and drills it.
Yeah, if I'm BYU, I definitely keep an eye on Garantes right now because she's heating up and she's been known to just go off in streaks.
1 minute to go.
It's an 8-0 Rutgers run. Less than a minute to go till half. Gonzalez, the moves into the paint. Stays here, 8 to shoot.
Just Garantes sizing up, waiting for the space to get that shot off right in front of Jeff Judkins.
Smiler heaves it in, and it's a takeaway before the buzzer. Giles looking for the flasher. This time it's Johnson. Lays it in. Takia Mack, loving it from her baseline seat. Now 6 seconds left for BYU. It's Gonzalez for 3. No. Rutgers ends the half, Christie, on a 10-0 run.
Well, your 2 major stars started taking shots down the stretch, and Diamond Johnson.
22 of BYU's 24. 20 minutes away from determining who is headed to the round of 32. BYU did just that in the latest NCAA Women's Championship 2 years ago. Rutgers, it's been a few years. It hasn't advanced to the second round since 2015. Christie, are we going to see our first, perhaps lower-seeded team win a game in this tournament? It's Rutgers with possession on this side. They give it away on the first possession.
Well, I think to answer your question, Kevin, I think it really is about ball security. And I was wondering coming into today, how would BYU perform without Hampson on the floor? You see this. They actually performed better when she went to the bench, scoring 19 points versus the 11 with her on the floor. She's obviously starting this half for them. Jeff Judkins said she's much better screening the roll offense, but I just feel like Hampson has to make her presence felt in the paint defensively for BYU.
Gonzalez buckets from deep.
Kevin, I think the bigger question is it going to be the dynamic duo on each side against one another the rest of this half, or will we get a third consistent score from one of these teams?
For BYU, only one other player outside of those 2 has scored, which is significant. Harding and Gonzalez carrying the load right now. That's the first team foul on BYU this quarter. It's the second on Lauren Gustin. Takia Mack, number 31 in the white, back on the floor. She sat for much of the first half with the 3 personals. Garantes by the flailing Harding and gets a pair of free throws.
Well, set play call from the bench for Rutgers, and you can just tell it's an ISO for Garantes. Clear out, she's patient, she waits, little hesitation to get by Harding and draw the foul. And there's something about that spot on the floor. BYU players continually slip in that exact same spot.
Yeah, well, the operations staff member, if you will, it's by that basket, yes, has had quite a bit of work to do with the mop. How about this? Garantes about to take her 10th free throw of the game. Always does a terrific job of getting to the line. "14 points, the Bellport, New York native, the poised senior captain." BYU
Kevin,
gets past the pressure.
Well, you saw the full court pressure by Rutgers, but it's different because they don't have Mack up on the ball. I'm assuming because of the foul trouble, they've moved Singleton up, not nearly as effective.
Mack for three. First bucket of the day for the senior from Chicago. And without Mack, a little less challenging for BYU to break it. Harding hoists the three. Follows, and she looked like kind of squeezed that one between her legs. Is this... interesting sequence.
Well, great job by Garantes to kind of pivot and screen for Mack to get that three, and the senior knocks it down.
If you caught the prior sequence, Christy, it looked like Harding kind of squeezed it between her legs and then fell, so a traveling call. It was quite a nice effort just to get possession. Garantes gives it away.
Well, that's why you never want to leave your feet to make a pass. She just got caught.
Gonzalez off the miss. Albiero way strong, and Hampson with the putback.
One thing about BYU, they have been relentless. They have come to play. We saw the celebration in that first half of how excited they were to get to Texas. Something tells me they don't want to go home.
Fourth personal foul on Hampson, and so the 6'7" shot blocking phenom has to sit.
Smart of Mack just to try to go right by Hampson. And you see Hampson just puts her hands on Mack as she's trying to get by her. Good call by the official. I mean, the good news for BYU is they responded in the first half when Hampson had to go to the bench. Can they do that here in the second half?
NCAA Women's Championship from San Marcos. A steal. It's the freshman. Johnson knocked away. And a great recovery by Albiero.
Again, that's the fight and relentless pursuit of BYU. That should have been 2 points for Rutgers. But you see Albiero not give up on the play and allows her defense to get back with her and get set. But it doesn't matter because Rutgers executes on the out-of-bounds play.
And it's Giles, the senior from Quebec. Came down funny on her right ankle in that first half and experienced a little discomfort, but looking sharp right now. Largest lead of the day for Rutgers.
Great defense
Harding
by
for three.
Rutgers.
Got it. Mack to the cutting Garantes. And Harding whistled for her third foul. And Christy, it feels like to battle with this Rutgers team, you've got to be physical, and you can see the fouls now starting to pile up.
Well, Kevin, I think it's about the paint points. And again, you saw the flash by Garantes trying to get that post up. And so if you don't do your work early, if you can't slow them down before they get to the paint, this is where Rutgers has been able to exploit here, especially in the second half.
Mack clears everyone out. Oh, banks it in, falling away.
Well, you're seeing the veterans for Rutgers really step up here in the third quarter. Garantes, Mack, Giles, and this is what C. Vivian Stringer has told us. The success this season is because of the veterans on the team. They want to win. They've brought Diamond Johnson into the fold, which makes things so much easier for that freshman point guard.
And it's a high-scoring third quarter. 11 points for Rutgers. Not yet at the halfway point. Johnson into a wall. Oh, it does everything but fall through. And Johnson to the line.
Takia Mack just busted out on the scene here in the third quarter after sitting. Just used the step through and gets the fortuitous bounce off the glass. The seniors excited.
With that look, never a doubt. High percentage look there from Mack.
At the line for the Starlight Knights, number 3, Diamond Johnson, shooting 2.
Johnson exceptional at the free throw line, 90% from the stripe. Remember, the Sweet 16 of the NCAA men's tournament continues on TBS and CBS. Just such a devastating loss for the Rutgers men's program yesterday. Had a late lead against Houston, the 2 seed in their bracket. Houston went on a late run to knock Rutgers out of that tournament, 63-60 the final. And can the women's program advance to the round of 32 just like the men did a few days ago? We were talking to Garantes about that. Boy, they really feed off of one another. Both programs having successful years. Off the miss, Garantes with the board. Crossover, finds an open teammate. Underneath. And Walker, or rather Singleton, pardon, couldn't get it. That's a 3 for BYU.
Just never out of the game because of how well they shoot the 3. Came into the day averaging 7 made threes a game. Already here this afternoon with 5 made threes.
And Graham with the latest. Right back to Singleton. And 0 for 2 at the rim.
Well, Singleton these last 2 possessions found herself underneath the backboard. Just has not had the correct position to be able to go up and finish.
WCC Player of the Year Gonzalez was backing it out. Gives it off to Graham. Harding, baseline, reverse lay-in.
Great read by Paisley Harding. Saw that her defender was cheating and then just was able to catch it and take it baseline.
Now 19 for the senior from Everett, Washington. Giles. Fortuitous bounce to Rutgers, but the timer is about to expire. And it's a shot clock violation. They didn't recognize it.
Well, BYU's Paisley Harding reads the defender, takes it baseline, goes to the reverse to avoid the help side defense.
National title game in 1999, and then 2 years later was named the head coach of the BYU women's program. And Christy, he has built up one of the most consistent winners, just like the men's program in Provo.
Well, it's great basketball to watch. I mean, I've just enjoyed. They're selfless. They move the ball well. They have skilled players, but they've got tough, hard-nosed players, as we're seeing here today.
He was telling us he still tries to pull many of his coaching philosophies, tactics from the great Red Auerbach from back in the day. But he was in San Antonio 22 years ago this month, and then April as well. That Final Four and national championship game appearance for Utah was right down the road from where they are now in San Antonio in the Alamo Dome. A loss to Kentucky, but what a year it was for Utah. a Utah lifer from Salt Lake City. He's got BYU and his Cougars within 6 today. The winner advances to the round of 32 to face either Arizona or Stony Brook. Diamond Johnson off the curl. Back to Mack. Dials it up. Garantes rips it away from Harding. The fade. Third chance. And the basket. Mack at the line for one more.
Well, these seniors are making the extra effort right now on the offensive glass. Mack goes up and snatches this rebound for the and one, and you see the excitement on the senior's face.
How much fun would you have had you played with a player like Takia Mack?
I got to believe her teammates love her, and opposing players do not like to go against Mack.
That is the case for the great ones. The senior from Chicago. Pride of Marshall High. What a year it's been. Not just her talents and abilities, but you said it before, Coach Stringer telling us the seniors have been invaluable for the 6 freshmen on the roster. Albiero bluffs the 3. Harding wide open. She's been money. Can't get that one. Garantes, the jab, pulls it up and hits it. Another counter punch from Rutgers. Back-to-back threes have them ahead by a dozen.
Arella Garantes running the floor. Diamond Johnson finds her. Just a little step back to create space.
Faces either Arizona or Stony Brook on Wednesday. It's the round of 32. The Mercado region, which features NC State, Texas A&M, the Wildcats, and then Indiana, the 4 seed. It's Rutgers in the 6-11 matchup with a 12-point lead. Takia Mack with a critical presence in the third quarter. Rutgers on a quick 6-0 run. Mack has 10 points in this quarter alone after sitting for much of the first half with foul trouble. And there's another turnover.
Yeah, you know that play was drawn up by BYU in the huddle. They just didn't read the defense and launched it.
There's Mack, third offensive, or rather second offensive rebound on the possession, but the giveaway. Gonzalez didn't feel the pressure on the backside, and it's Garantes on the floor to take it away.
Well, credit Zippy Broughton for running down Gonzalez in transition, and then Garantes was able to get the loose ball.
This feels like a different Rutgers team this quarter.
Well, you talked about it. It's Mack. Mack is on the floor. She is the mojo, in my opinion, for this Rutgers team. She brings the energy, and you're seeing her teammates feed off of it.
Garantes wide open. And that's not to say BYU has played poorly. They wanted a nice run to make it a 6-point game a few minutes ago. Big 3, and that one splashes. It's the 6th Cougars triple to get it back to single digits.
Well, Jeff Judkins only had great things to say about Tegan Graham. He said it's amazing that after 1 year, because she is a Colgate transfer, she is the true leader of this team. Just thinks the game so well. 2 big threes to keep BYU in this game.
Now Mack heads back to the free throw line. We keep saying this. It just feels like punch, counter punch. Even despite the 9-point hole, BYU scratching and clawing to be here. Look at the difference between first half to the third quarter for Mack.
Kevin, I'm just going to say it. It's the return of the Mack here in the second half. She's on the floor. And she's making her presence felt.
Picked up the third foul at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter, and she was none too happy, realizing that she was going to have to sit until half.
Well, you notice that big brace on her left arm. Injured that in January. Was going to miss 6 weeks, and that also overlapped with that month-long pause that Rutgers took. And so she was able to, she just worked so hard in her rehab and was able to return to the court. And the crazy thing is, her points are up since the injury, her rebounds and her assists are all up post-injury.
One of the better defensive players in the league. 8 to shoot. Gonzalez, 2 to shoot. No. Second chance for BYU. One dribble, Smiler, yes! Her first bucket is a big one late in the third. 10 seconds. Johnson guarded by Gonzalez. Cross-court feed. Broughton, no. 1 second, 7-point game heading to the final quarter. Who wants to advance to the round of 32? Rutgers by 7.
Teams in the country right now, you've got to be able to make buckets to stay in the game against Maryland.
This has turned into, this one here, the 6-11 matchup in the Mercado region. A compelling one. Punch, counter punch. Rutgers scores 20 in the third quarter, but BYU right there with 19. And this remains a pretty tight one. Mack to Garantes, fouled on the way up. And Garantes earns her 11th and 12th free throws.
Great weak side flash by Garantes, though. Caught her defender sleeping and was able to flash the ball and draw that foul.
17 for Rutgers' leading scorer. And this game, I think we've seen it. Yes, she scores 21 a game. She's more than just a scorer.
Yeah, when you're talking about Aurelia Garantes, you're talking about the only player in the top 5 in the Big Ten in points, blocks, steals, and assists. This is a well-rounded player. She's not just about putting up shots. She impacts the game on a multitude of levels.
BYU cleans up the miss. Lauren Gustin. Broughton. Back to Johnson. Tipped out, stays with Rutgers, 8 to shoot.
Gustin, I think, saved BYU there because Garantes had that seal for that pass. Gustin, just active with her hands, was able to deflect that ball.
Garantes fades and hits.
And I can't even say, I mean, it wasn't like it was bad defense. It was just such better offense, individual offense by Garantes.
Her 12th 20-point game of the year. Giles knocks it away.
Aurelia Garantes just sizes up the defender, and Paisley Harding is there on her. Garantes just elevates over and knocks it down.
4 to shoot. 3 in the air. Gonzalez. It was in Gustin's hands. Gonzalez on the floor. And now BYU comes away with it. It's a big offensive rebound. Oh, shot blocked. Right back to Gonzalez. Into the paint. Gustin. Kick out. Who's open? Excellent recovery D from Rutgers. Harding. Score the goal. And one.
We've seen a lot of second chance opportunities, but this one was probably the most selfless by BYU, moving the ball around, getting it to Paisley Harding, who splits 2 defenders to kiss it off the glass for the and one.
Just big-time buckets on both ends. She matches Garantes now with 21 of her own, the senior from Washington. a captain as well, playing in her 125th career game. As BYU back within 6. That's a foul on Custon. Or part of that, Smiler. Second team foul on BYU. Garantes in the far corner, top of the screen. Instead, an attack. Johnson knifes in. Rebound to BYU. Harding left wide open. The 9th BYU triple. Timeout Rutgers. 3-point game. 25 for Harding.
Leasing to test drives that come to you. Experience a new way to buy an Infiniti. Infiniti now.
What do you think?
This one.
Want to take it for a test drive?
This is a dream!
Today, we gave away some free cars.
I like that pink car.
And with 0% APR financing during the Honda Dream Garage Spring event, we can help you too. Right now, you can get 0% APR financing on a 2020 Civic LX or lease a 2020 Civic LX for just $159 a month plus tax. I'm pretty sure I have a blue one in stock.
That was amazing!
Welcome back to Strahan Arena, where BYU's like, we don't have to mess with the half-court defense of Rutgers. If we push in transition and spot up, Paisley Harding for the 9th BYU 3 on the afternoon.
Playing with the emotion and the swagger. Rutgers, remember, Christy, had a 12-point lead earlier this half. Back to 3, and this duo, when Shaylee Gonzalez has been contained, just 3 of 15 from the field. It's Harding with some big-time shots. Meanwhile, Garantes and Johnson, that duo, with a combined 34. But it's BYU on a 6-0 run with momentum. Offensive foul. And a little more.
Well, I love the defense of BYU to double the drop past the elbow. Mack trying to make something happen. Just runs right through Tegan Graham, who draws the charge to send the ball the other way for BYU.
Harding is certainly the scorer. Graham, her fingerprints all over this one as well. BYU within 3. Here's Harding. Gonzalez spins on Johnson. Late in the shot clock. Harding going to work on Mack. 2 to shoot. The leaner. Second chance. Mack knocks it away. Is it a jump ball? And it is. And that possession arrow favors Rutgers.
Kevin, I can't say enough about the effort of Paisley Harding. Their shot clock running down, so she's put in an uncomfortable position of trying to create off the set defense of Rutgers, but she stays with it.
I mean, think about that. That is the 11th offensive board for BYU. So Friday, the regional semifinals of the men's Frozen Four. It's at 1 Eastern on ESPN. First round action, NCAA Women's Championship here in San Marcos, about an hour from San Antonio. After the turnover, BYU, the 11 seed, has a chance to maybe tie it with the 3.
And Kevin, could we have our first lower seed upset of the tournament here this afternoon?
If you ask Paisley Harding, you're going to get an answer of yes. She's going back to the free throw line.
Fouls on number 22, Tyus Singleton, her third. Team third.
That's the 3rd team foul on Rutgers. 2 on BYU. And there it is. Yesterday, every higher-seeded team won. The first time the tournament has started that way in 11 years. So here's BYU. They go 18-5, lose at the buzzer in the WCC championship game. And Jeff Judkins said to us they were thinking all week 50-50 at best, whether or not we may see our name on selection Monday. I think we're seeing that this team certainly deserves to be here, and they are pushing Rutgers. 5:56 to go. .27 for Harding. Where does Rutgers turn to right now?
I think it's got to be a little two-man action. Garantes and Diamond battle. They've been your major scoring punch.
Garantes with 21 leans in. That doesn't roll through.
Now again, just a little more team offense there versus trying to force the action one-on-one.
Harding into the paint again. Adjusts. Wild layup. No. And it's Giles to clear it. This is Garantes. The scoreless drought for Rutgers continues. That's the 17th turnover. And BYU has a chance to take a lead for the first time. It's the opening minutes. Gonzalez offline. Second chance scoring. BYU takes a lead. Offensive foul. Guess who? Paisley Harding has C. Vivian Stringer incensed.
We talk a lot about Rutgers defense, but how about the BYU defense? Paisley Harding moving her feet and getting the charge called on Garantes.
Paisley, the playmaker right now. BYU on a 10-0 run, has its first lead since the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. There's a whistle inside.
You know, I'm all for letting the players play, but that's the call they made earlier in the game, so at least the officials are being consistent.
And the foul is against, or pardon, it goes on Mael Giles. That's the 5th Rutgers team foul. So bonus free throws the rest of the way for BYU. 4:04 to go. Gustin, 68% from the stripe. Nothing run. Rutgers needs the spark. Mack posting on Gustin. Right hand dribble. And gets called for the travel. Rutgers in disarray right now.
But I respect this about Mack. No argument about the call, telling her team to get up and let's defend. And her teammates don't follow suit.
Christie, Rutgers hasn't scored in 5 minutes, 5 turnovers in that span. Harding on the deck again. And she traveled. Well, we welcome those who just watched Georgia win its first round matchup. Here we are, the 6-11 matchup in the Mercado region. In San Marcos, inside Strahan Arena. It's BYU, the 11 seed, with a 3-point lead on a 12-0 run. Garantes. This is the all-Big 12 first-teamer for Rutgers. Arella Garantes with a key basket.
And I'll say this yet again, it wasn't bad defense by Paisley Harding. It's just that is how good Garantes is, her ability to elevate and knock the jumper.
Now it's Gustin inside, got it. This has been a wildly entertaining game. Rutgers led by as many as 12 earlier this half. BYU, as we showed you a moment ago, used a 12-0 run to take a lead after the Garantes basket, back to a one-point game. Oh, 27 for the senior. Harding, she can't be this open. Again? It's Gustin. Second effort. And Mack rips it away.
Yeah, that's one I think Gonzalez wishes she had back. Great effort to get the rebound, but didn't need to force that one up.
Giles, no. It's BYU looking to advance to the second round for a second straight tournament with a one-point lead over the 6th seed. Two to play in San Marcos. Garantes guards the senior. Bounce pass, errant pass. It's Singleton to take it away.
Great job by Rutgers. They defended the set play. That was supposed to be a wraparound for a three, and great job by Rutgers to blow it up.
The Scarlet Knights trying to retake a lead. 1:35 to go. Garantes hesitates, searching for the lane. Back to Mack. Johnson hops in, short, and the rebound to Gustin. In rhythm, three in the air. Got it! Garantes, deep three, and the response. Oh, it's going to be a wild final minute. 1-point lead for BYU. Six to shoot, into the paint. Gustin, strong, stays here. Last touch by Rutgers, and that timer says 2 seconds. Welcome to San Marcos on the Texas State campus, where BYU, the 11 seed, has a 1-point edge over the 6th seed Rutgers Scarlet Knights. 32.2 left. There's 2 seconds on the shot clock. BYU has possession after the timeout. With Christy Tomascuddy, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. This one has been a wildly entertaining fourth quarter. Christy, BYU once down by 12. Took a lead just a few minutes ago, and looking to take it to the end of this one. Paisley Harding with 27, 4 shy of her career high. And the other dynamic shot maker, Arella Garantes, matching her stride for stride, 28. The Hall of Famer saw her team ahead by 12 earlier in this half. She's guided her teams to 28
I'm just
NCAA
making sure
tournaments.
that the time is correct on the out-of-bounds play.
And that was the voice you just heard of Dee Cantor, the head referee of our crew today.
Just trying to verify that the time on the shot clock as well as game clock is correct. Again, you want to get it right now. Because, Kevin, you and I were talking about how BYU lost in that championship game as far as you thought that the clock didn't start in time. So definitely if you're a BYU fan, you're like, get this right.
32.3 left. BYU has done this before, hasn't it? as a 12 seed 7 years ago advanced to the Sweet 16. They are trying to take down the first higher seeded team of this NCAA Women's Championship. 2 timeouts for BYU, 3 for Rutgers. It's Cougars ball. They're about to inbound it underneath their own hoop. Possession arrow favors the Cougars.
After review, you can see the correction is 33 seconds on the game clock and 3 seconds on the shot clock.
So give him 7/10 more of a second. 33 on the game clock. BYU has 3 to shoot.
And Kevin,
And
I'd
it's
be
Gonzalez
surprised.
inbound.
I'd be surprised this wasn't some kind of screen the screener action here to get someone open.
Back to the inbounder. And Gonzalez is fouled on the 3-point attempt.
Fouls on number 13, Maya Downs, her third.
Kevin, Rutgers runs a 1-3-1 on out-of-bounds defense. And great job of getting the ball to Gonzalez as she runs in. And Giles just gets a piece of her there.
At the line for the Cougars, number 2, Shaylee Gonzalez, shooting 3.
Gonzalez, the WCC Player of the Year, 73% for the line this year, 4 of 4 today. Huge. Big free throws. And BYU has its largest lead of the day with 30.9 left. No surprise, the Capital One rewarding performance goes to Paisley Harding.
27 points. She's done it from 3. She's done it off the bounce. She's been measured, cool, calm, collective, has just exposed any type of defensive mistakes that Rutgers has had today. But most importantly, she has come up big when the Cougars have needed her most here in the second half.
The senior co-captain approaching the career high. Wind it back a week ago on Selection Monday. BYU was just a few days removed from losing at the buzzer in the WCC title game to Gonzaga. The players said it. Jeff Judkins mentioned it. We didn't know. We thought it was 50-50 at best whether or not we get the call. They get in, and they're 30 seconds away from knocking out Rutgers.
Well, if you're Rutgers here, go for a quick 2. You don't need to settle for 3. Just get a quick score.
It's Garantes, got it, 2-point game, 25.5 left. BYU is in the bonus, and that foul sends the Cougars to the free throw line.
I like the strategy by Rutgers, though. You still got 2 timeouts. Force BYU to have to convert from the free throw line. And honestly, it said a lot to me that Jeff Judkins didn't call timeout and advance the ball, showed his faith in his veteran perimeter players to take care of the ball.
And look at BYU at the line today, 16 of 17. And now 8 of 8 is Gonzalez at the line. Timeout with 24.1, and the lead back to 4 for the Cougars. So Rutgers with 1 more timeout remaining. BYU has 2. The Cougars remain in the bonus. 24.1 left. And Christy, you still have the time to do what you just did on the prior sequence.
Absolutely. I go to Garantes. She's made big bucket after big bucket. Now, I think the bigger question is, how will BYU defend? Will they try to deny her the ball, maybe even double her with the inbound defender to make someone else for Rutgers have to score? But for Rutgers, don't waste time trying to set up this really elaborate play. Get to the rim, get high percentage, score, and do it again and force BYU to convert from the free throw line.
There's Garantes with 28 today. The Scarlet Knights had a 12-point lead earlier this half. BYU used a huge 12-0 run earlier in the quarter to take a lead. They have it here. Knocked out by Harding. She steps out, so it remains with Rutgers. Back to inbound. Garantes gets the screen into the paint, throws it away. And Mack has to foul. That's her 5th. She'll be DQ'd with 13.4 left. BYU with free throws.
Well, Aurelia Garantes just trying to make something happen. Thinks she has Mack open down low, but you see the rotation on defense by BYU forcing Mack to foul to stop the clock.
We haven't seen it yet this tournament. A lower seeded team taking down the higher seed. BYU 13.4 away. Rims out. Timed out on Rutgers' side. 10 seconds. 5-point game. Garantes has to put something up. Martino. That's good. 3.8 left. Timeout Rutgers. A big one from the freshman Martino.
And credit Aurelia Garantes that she didn't try to force a shot there. Knew she had the double, so kicked it down to the corner to Liz Martino, to the freshman who hits probably the biggest three of her young career. You can tell BYU was not going to let Garantes beat them, and so Garantes feeds Martino in the corner, and the freshman calmly knocks it down.
You just heard Decanter mention she's headed to the monitor just to check, clearly behind the three-point line. And both of them, that is, from the corner. 3.8 left. At what is being diagrammed here, if you're Rutgers, it's need the pressure right now.
I'm going to go full denial, trying to get the 5-second count. And then I would just say, go for the steal first. Can't get that, then you're going for that foul. The problem now is Rutgers out of timeouts. So to send them back to the free throw line is really an uphill battle. So I think you've got to go all out here to try to force this turnover. And I wouldn't be surprised if BYU goes long with this inbounds pass to avoid that, and worst case they turn it over, forcing Rutgers to come the other way.
It's a great point, because if BYU does get it in, Rutgers has to foul immediately.
And BYU just called timeout. So I'll be surprised if Jeff Judkins isn't advancing the ball, again, to force Rutgers to have to go the length of the floor to score.
Christy, BYU has a reputation of doing this. Advanced in the latest tournament 2 years ago. Remember, as a 12 seed 7 years ago. Made it all the way to the Sweet 16. Are they headed to the round of 32 as 11 again this season?
There's a reason they're always in this position to advance, and that's really falls to the hands of Jeff Judkins and the way he runs this program. I can't say it enough about just how tough these young ladies have played here this afternoon.
The senior Graham to inbound. Knocked out, a foul, and that's whistled against Garantes. 0.7 came off the clock.
Foul is on number 24, Aurelia Garantes, her fourth. Into the game for the Scarlet Knights, number 2, Liz Martino, number 22, Claire Singleton.
And And will we go back to the monitor to see if it was exactly 0.7? That did come off. It's Harding, regardless, who's going to be at the free throw line.
At the line for the Cougars, number 13, Weasley Harding, shooting 2.
Stays at 3.1. 2 free throws for Harding. Both of them might do it. Door left open, 2 seconds. Rutgers gets fouled with 0.9. And a wise decision. So Rutgers is going to have to inbound it. That was just the 4th team foul.
But Kevin, just another example of how well coached this BYU team is. Not even trying to allow Rutgers to get that shot off. And it was smart when they used that foul.
0.9.
So still time for a catch and shoot by Rutgers.
Decanter taking a look in a critical juncture to make sure that it's exactly 9/10 of a second that remain on the clock. Oh, how good has this 4th quarter been?
Amazing. If the rest of today and the rest of this tournament follows suit, we're in for one heck of a women's tournament this month.
Rutgers up by as many as 12 earlier this half, trailing by 3. Watch the clock. Oh.
But it's not just when she made the foul. What we couldn't see is when the official blew his whistle to stop the clock.
From that look, that's a great point. It appears, though, could there be some additional fractions of a second added here?
And if you're a Rutgers fan, every little bit you want on that clock.
They will be inbounding right around half court. They need the miracle heave, down by 3.
I mean, honestly, this helps Rutgers right now because they're getting an unofficial timeout where they could diagram what they want to run and how they want to execute that. I would have Garantes running towards the rim, so she has the momentum already facing the rim to take that one dribble. Again, assuming that there's going to be 1.8 or around that on the clock, one dribble and then shot.
I saw the Garantes family watching, and a quick correction. So 3 team fouls on BYU. It has one to use in this situation.
You got to believe they're going to use it. Again, what they want to be very careful of is that Rutgers is not in the act of shooting when they commit that foul. If I'm BYU, I take the inbound defender and I'm doubling Garantes.
A significant time for both teams, and it is certainly benefits Rutgers with possession, down 3. Cantor still at the monitor, and it looks like .3.
Again, that's beneficial on 2 fronts for Rutgers. Allow them to get their play drawn up from the sideline, but gives them just that .4 extra to get this shot off.
BYU won't guard the inbounder. Needs one stop to move on. Garantes catch, dribble, didn't beat the buzzer. BYU does it. Moving on to the round of 32. They knock out Rutgers 69-66. Garantes,
Kevin,
the emotions. Oh.
Yeah, we're seeing the highs and lows of tournament time. Garanta's played her heart out, not just today, but this entire year.